What's going on, LightSaber Radio fans? We are here today to talk about some topics that are going to kind of rattle a little bit, but could be a good thing in the long run. We kind of have to see what happened to the damn thing.
Sorry, that was me. That was
me. I like, dude, like the whole shit just popped off.
I didn't mean to.
Yeah, there's some stuff going on within the Star Wars, just within Disney. It's not just Star Wars. Marvel is getting hit too. It's impacting Marvel. It's impacting all of fucking Disney content, So we're going to be talking about that. Plus, we're going to be looking at the new Ahsoka trailer, breaking down the new Ahsoka trailer, because I've seen it. Garrison hasn't seen it yet. Garrison waited till the show.
I'm waiting to watch it together.
I couldn't. It was like crack. I had to watch it as soon as I said, "Oh God, I gotta watch it! I gotta watch it!" So, because hey, Ahsoka is one of my favorite characters. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. We're gonna be discussing some news and rumors because there's a lot of news coming out.
There's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about when it comes to, and a lot of it's Disney. You know what I'm saying? So this might not be solely Star Wars. We're gonna be talking a little bit about what's going on with Marvel too, because you gotta like Marvel, man. Come on, Marvel got some dope movies. I'm sorry, Marvel got some dope movies. But we're gonna have a little bit of fun today. So you guys sit back and enjoy, and we're going to get started right now.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this.
You are now if you only knew the power of darkness.
Here it comes.
Let's go.
You are now tuned into LightSaber Radio. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello there.
Okay, so let's start off today with, we're just gonna get this out of the way. Disney just extended Bob Iger's contract for 2 more years.
Good call, I think. But
And
I guess we'll
with
see.
those 2 years of them re-signing Bob Iger down, he made some announcements, which, the Star Wars announcement wasn't really
that
big of a deal because
I'm just kidding.
no, well, the Star Wars announcement wasn't really that big of a deal because he's already said what he was going to say, that they was going to dial it back, they were going to do more, they were going to try to make better content, and which in course
But
takes
now it's
more time.
It's like official now. Like
Yeah,
we
it's
know
official now.
Star Wars is going to be scaled back. We're going to be getting a lot less Star Wars than what we're used to.
Which I don't know. It could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing.
It really comes down to what you prefer. That was going to be my Hothbreaker today. I was going to ask
Well, go ahead. Go say it. Say it then.
Okay. Sure. We'll get to this first and then, okay. Hothbreaker. My Hothbreaker was going to be, what do you prefer? Do you prefer more content that might not be as good, or a lot less content with more effort put into it?
I go for more effort. I'd rather watch good Star Wars than just random shit put out. I mean, it's great. I like being able to have, because, it helps us out on the podcast because it gives us stuff to talk about. The more stuff they talk about. But I don't want to sit back and always complain about bad content.
Right.
Like, it kind of makes me feel like I'm one of the fucked up fans that just always complaining about shit, and I don't like being that person. I want to talk about the good part of it. So at the same time, it was like, I would rather have good content that I can praise. I want to praise Star Wars. I don't like putting Star Wars down. I hate saying that Boba Fett sucked and Obi-Wan Kenobi sucks. I hate saying that shit, but it's the truth.
Right.
I don't want to lie about it. It just was not good content. I would rather have great content that I could sit back and I could talk about and I could, say, hey, this is some good shit. I'd rather be that optimistic Star Wars fan than I would be the fan that's just always putting it down because they're putting out poor content.
And to be fair, some fans like the content, but like Bob Iger said so himself, like they put out so much and it didn't have the same impact. It didn't have the same reception that they were hoping for, and it diluted the product.
And Bob Iger also said that one of the bad things about and this is not just Star Wars, but Marvel and Star Wars, is there was so much content that was coming out, it diluted the Marvel movies.
Exactly, it diluted.
You know what I'm saying? It made the Marvel movies not as good, and they didn't make the money. I mean, they made $300 million film, and they only made $120 million in the box office, which is they can't do that.
It's been rough with some of the recent movies, but I'm glad that Disney's finally starting to notice, dude. It feels good that they're actually. It seems like they're finally listening to the fans, and they're
I think they took a. I think they took
attention.
I think they paid attention to what DC did. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Star Wars team, the actors joined the strike now, but the. I think that they paid attention to what DC did. DC just said, no, we got to stop. Because we're not making no money. We're spending too much money and we're not making enough money. And as a company, this is the thing. Innovation can't come if you do not make money. You can't create new shit. You can't come out with new techniques and shit. You know how much so Marvel at first was making a killing, especially with Iron Man, all the different changes they did with the Iron Man suit. I was just watching this on YouTube earlier today. Me and my wife was watching it. Like all the innovations that they did with technology and CGI and everything with the Iron Man suit. Okay, just with the Iron Man suit. We're not even going to talk about nothing else. Just the Iron Man suit. That costs money to be able to do those things. Even though a lot of it's done CGI, but you still have to build practical effects. And that shit costs money. And if you're losing money on every film that you're doing or everything that you're doing, you got to stop and say, okay, this is not good for the company because we can't create new shit. We're just basically, we got to go back to the drawing board. And that's what DC did. And I think Disney is sitting back and they're looking at that and saying, okay, this is not working. I think Bob Iger really looked at it and said, this is not working. We're not, streaming platform was supposed to, Disney Plus was supposed to come in and fill this big gap and make all this extra money. And it did. I mean, it made money. Don't get me wrong, because there's a lot of people that got Disney, but it didn't make the money that it was. Well, now you have to fill content constantly because you got a streaming platform, so you got to constantly put stuff out. And nowadays, and I was just talking to a guy the other day, and he put a film out on YouTube. Now it's a dramatic film, but he shot this entire film on a Galaxy Note 20. And the film it's a good film. It's a good story. It ain't a lot of, it's more dramatic. It's not, it's people in houses and talking and stuff, but you could not tell that this shit was shot on a Galaxy Note 20. And he did it for like $10,000. And it looks like a real fucking movie. Like, dude, this shit is great.
Right.
So you can't, and like the dude, he's done made a shit. He was telling me, he was like, dude, I spent $10,000 and made damn near $1 million off this movie. Just playing it on YouTube. So right now it's like, dude, these big corporations like Disney and Paramount and all these companies, they're competing now with indie filmmakers. Right.
And I think
when
they're
somebody
realizing
can go out
they're realizing they're big budgets. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, when you spend $500 million on a movie and you only make $120 million, dude, you're losing money. And right now, you got new actors and stuff that are coming in that are not a part of the guild yet. And the actors went on strike. You got the writers on strike. So it's a time right now where indie filmmakers are about to explode because, who was it? I was reading an article that said, so somebody came in, they made a movie. They were supposed to get $25 million for the movie. Well, under their contract, they get paid a percentage of that $25 million per time that they're on film. Well, they cut out a bunch of their shit and CGI'd it and deep faked it and did all this shit. So then this dude gets his check. It's like $2 million. He was supposed to make 25, he makes 2. And he's like, what the fuck? And they were like, it's in the contract. And that's what the actors are upset about. The actors are upset about, we're not getting paid. The money that we're getting paid because you guys are putting these stipulations in the contract and you think it's fine, but then you cut out all of my shit, so then I don't make no money. It
seems like we're having less appreciation. And it shows in the movies. There's less appreciation for the actors and the writers. And it shows in the movies. They think they're big budgets and they're awesome special effects will make up for a bad story and bad acting. But that's just not the case.
Well, I know tonight I'm going to watch.
I'd be fed up too if I was the writer or an actor. We need to get back to the basics of storytelling and have good actors and good
and pay the actors, pay these writers,
pay them for what they're doing.
You know, if a writer, and don't get me wrong, I think a lot of the things that when it comes to the writers is a little bit they're asking like, dude, you wrote 5 minutes of a movie and you want, you know,
correct.
You want this great amount of the movie or this large, like, dude, you wrote 5%. You know what I'm saying? And they need to get rid of all these reviewers that are going over and review. You don't need 500 people to review the script. Hire somebody that's good, that's a writer, have them go through, because they literally, somebody writes a script, they got to write 4 or 5 versions of the script. And I know this because I'm writing a script for a movie right now, and it's like you got to write 4 or 5 versions. Then they, you know what I'm saying? Then they're going, each time you write it, then they have 500 people read the goddamn script. And then you got to go back and make whatever changes. Get rid of all that shit. You don't need that much shit. Have a writer write the script, have a couple people review it, you know what I'm saying? Go back, say, okay, this is what we think you should do. Boom. They go back, do the revision, and you're done. That's all it should be. Why the hell does somebody like Steven Spielberg got to write a script 5 times? This dude is a master of writing scripts. You know how many movies he's done written that are just blockbuster hits? George Lucas don't need nobody to go over his scripts 500 times. He owned the company, and he still had these people doing it because it was part of the guild. Right. It's part of the Writers Guild that you have to do all these different things. And it's like, dude, some of this shit is just outrageous. But some of the things they need to do, and it would lower cost. You know what I'm saying? It would lower cost. And when it boils down to it, that's what it comes to. It always comes down to cost. But the only way you're going to make big money is you got to come out with interesting stories that are new.
It's got to be good. That
are better. Like I was saying on the last thing, I did not realize that Infinity Wars, Thanos was the main character of the movie. That's what made it so good, because Thanos was the main character. How often is the bad guy the main character? You know what I'm saying? Everybody else was side characters to Thanos. But nobody had ever done nothing like that before. That's what made it interesting. That's what made it good. Because we got a different, and in his point of view, he was the good guy. So he's trying to tell us why this should happen and why this is so important and why he must accomplish this goal. And that's what enthralled us, because we were like, holy shit, man, and you didn't even realize it. That's good writing. But if you're not doing that, just like I'm going to see Indiana Jones to this evening, because I want to go see the new Indiana Jones, because I don't know. I've seen some reviews on it that said it was good. I've seen some reviews on it that said it was bad. Most of the reviews that said it was bad didn't have to do with the story. It had to do with the CGI and all that stuff. Which the story's good. I can forgive CGI. That shit don't bother me that much. As long as it ain't no fucking camera shaking the whole damn fucking that shit don't bother the shit out of me.
You can't let that go.
I'm not ever gonna let that shit. Was just stupid. But you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go see it because I love movies. I like watching content. You know, I love Star Wars content, but that's not the only content I intake. You know, I like movies. I'm a big Indiana Jones fan. A lot of people said they hated the Crystal Skulls. I like the Crystal Skulls. I thought it was a good damn movie. I liked it, especially the ant shit and all that. There was some good parts in there. But it's just one of those things where we got to have good story. If you do not have a good story, the production is going to lack, no matter how much fucking CGI. And this is another thing. And I was talking with my partner at work, and we were sitting there talking, and I noticed something. They think that this quick, flashy, you know what I'm saying, quick sequences, because of people's, you know, they think that people have this fucking click through swipe fucking mentality.
Yeah.
And I don't think that applies when it comes to movies. Because when you're going to a movie, you're already going in with the idea that you're going to be here for, 2+ hours.
A while. Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So when you put in a lot of CGI, quick effects, quick scenery, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, it's not appealing. you're trying to cover up a lack of story with these things. But when you go to the movies, and I don't care if you're a teenager or a 10-year-old or a 85-year-old man, you are already in the sequence of you're going to be sitting there for a couple hours watching this movie. So that stuff does not hide the lack of story. Without the story,
Right.
everybody looks at the movie like this was a bad movie, no matter what special effects you put in there.
Right.
J-Dog said, what did y'all think of Dial of Destiny? I haven't went and seen it. I'm going to see it tonight.
Yeah. So let's go over first. I say we need to go over like some of the news article that talks about what Bob Iger, kind of talked about Bob Iger.
Yeah. Well, I watched it was there was actually a 45-minute CNBC interview with him.
And there's some big highlights, I guess. Because,
Right,
we know Marvel cut at the box office. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was that, so Disney noted that Pixar animation had some misses in recent months, too. That Pixar wasn't doing as well, just like Marvel, just like Lucasfilm. And he called out Marvel as being a particular example of the company. He said Marvel is a great example of that. It had not been in the television business at any significant level, and not only did they increase their movie output, but they ended up making a number of TV series. Frankly, it diluted focus and attention.
Yeah,
So what do you think about that? Do you think it dilutes focus and attention, or do you think
I do, because one of the great things, and a lot of people put George Lucas down for this for years because he waited so long to come out from the originals and the prequel trilogy. But that built up anticipation. When you just shoving content down somebody's throat, you're going to dilute the content that you can't create. George kind of knew that. So he didn't ever 77, 79, 83. Wasn't that how it was? 179 when, I'm pretty sure I could be wrong, but I know the last one came out in 83 of the original trilogy. He didn't drop the prequel trilogy for almost over 10 years.
true?
You know what I'm saying? And that's where a lot of people fail to realize it built up that anticipation. People were like, oh, they're never coming out with no more Star Wars. That was the end of it. It was no more Star Wars. Then when he did release Star Wars, holy shit, everybody in the world went to see Star Wars. Now, I don't think you should wait that long.
No, I agree. Don't wait that long.
Don't wait that long.
Please, Disney.
You know what I'm saying? It builds up anticipation when okay, when you're just shoving content down somebody's faces, content, it does dilute it because you're like, all right, well, there's no excitement. There's no anticipation. 6 months of anticipation and 3 years of anticipation is two totally different things. You know what I'm saying? Like the difference between, even with the sequel trilogy, even if you didn't like the sequel trilogy, you say you watched 7 and you were like, dude, that wasn't that good. You still was anticipating for 8 to come out because you knew they were coming out with 8. Then the same thing from 8 to 9. You knew it was coming out. You anticipated it. Excitement. Even if you didn't like 7 and 8, you still went and seen 9.
Right.
And that's where, and don't get me wrong, because I love that they came out with The Mandalorian. I love Andor. I'm not going to say I love Boba Fett or Kenobi, but I was happy that they came out with the content. But at the same time, it was like, okay, now did that really kind of just ruin us for the new movies? Because now I'm sitting back like, dude, the new movie's going to be good. You came out with Andor, which, you came out with Rogue One, which was good. Solo was good. Was good to me. A lot of people didn't like Solo. Then you came out with the sequel trilogy that was just garbage. You know what I'm saying? It was just not that good of a trilogy. Then you came out with Mando. Mando made up for everything. Like, oh shit, Mando's great. Then you come out with, you know what I'm saying, Book of Boba Fett. Like, what is this? Then you come out with Kenobi. Like, what is this? Then you come out with Andor. You know what I'm saying? Andor was good. So it's like, dude, we're 50-50 here.
Right.
Like, we're almost at a 50-50 level here. And it's like, okay, now I'm worried about the new movies that are coming out. And then with the actors being on strike, with the writers being on strike, we don't know when we're going to get movies. You know, oh yeah, we're gonna get in 2024 and 2020 or 2025, 2027, and 2029. But that's not a guarantee now. None of this is guaranteed. None of the new series is guaranteed other than the stuff that's done. Ahsoka's done. You know what I'm saying? It's already done. Everything's done. They're like just doing editing. All the shooting is done. Writing has been done. All that stuff is done. So, you know what I'm saying? It's coming out. You know, if they're doing anything, it's promotional stuff now. It's coming out. But what else is going to be able to come out? You know what I'm saying? Because if anything else that's not done, written and done, all the acting is done in and everything is done in, it's getting put on hold, which is not a problem to me if you guys come out with good content. I don't mind waiting for good content. I just don't want to watch it. It's just bad. And I think Bob Iger, when he said it originally, when he said it originally that he was going to pull back on the Star Wars content and do quality content instead of quantity of content, I agree with him. It kind of sucks. I would like more Star Wars. If I had my way, I'd watch Star Wars every damn day. But I would rather watch good Star Wars every day than garbage Star Wars every day.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. And I think it shows Disney's finally listening, because it feels like they haven't been listening recently. It feels like they were just pumping out crap just to pump out crap. And it's nice that they seem to like, all right, let's listen to the fans. Let's listen to the reactions. Let's not just force our stuff down people's throats. Let's take a step back and think about this.
Well, it's fan service.
I appreciate it.
You know, it's fan service, and they should know by being a major conglomerate, you know, they've been around forever. They should know that you can't please everybody. So stop trying to please anybody. Just make good content, and they either going to like it or they're not going to like it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's the only thing you can do. Any creative person will tell you that you can't please everybody, so don't try to please nobody. Just do what you like, and they're either going to like it or they're not. And that's really what you have to do. Write the stories that you want to hear. You know, like me right now, I'm writing this movie, and because I was asked to write it, and I'm sitting back and I'm writing this movie, and I'm writing what I like, what I would like to see. You know what I'm saying? What I would like to hear, you know, the funny things that I think is funny. And it's either going to work or it's not. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit back and go ask everybody, what do you like? I mean, and sometimes it's easy. So on the Sway podcast, I basically asked everybody, what's your favorite parts of the story, of the podcast? Because I knew I needed to make changes because it just things wasn't working the way that I assumed that they were going to work. So I asked people their idea. Now, it's a difference when we damn near got 1 million emails. And I had to use programs and shit to go through and look for keywords because we got so many. I didn't have enough people to read the emails. And like most people said, they like the story, the book part, and they like the quote of the week. So there ain't no, like, if everybody says the same thing, or the majority of the people say the same thing, you take that into consideration.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if it was a 50-50 split, I'd have been lost. Like, I don't know what the hell to do. I guess just do whatever I want. But, you know what I'm saying? I was at a loss. So you ask. But you still have to take in, like, if everybody says they want Obi-Wan Kenobi, we want a story about Obi-Wan Kenobi, we want Boba Fett, come out with good shit then. Because I know everybody was saying that. I was excited to see the Boba Fett series. I was excited to see Kenobi, but then you came out with crappy stuff and killed the characters. Just ruined the characters. You know, so then you can't do that. And I think that's my biggest problem.
It just felt like before we were being taken advantage of as fans. It's like, hey, fans want to see Kenobi. No matter how good we make it, they will watch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And eventually, no, I'm not going to watch it if it's not good.
I mean,
and so it's good that they're like, all right, let's actually try to make something good rather than, they'll watch whatever we give them.
Well, you see the difference of Andor and Kenobi in Book of Boba Fett. Andor, they let Tony Gilroy do it. He wrote it. He directed it. He got, they did casting. They did everything. I mean, of course, they had to go through, Kathleen Kennedy and them to get the green light, but they let somebody go in there and take control of it. When George Lucas was in control of Lucasfilms, it was good stories. When, you know what I'm saying, because you had the same person writing it, directing it, and you had everybody working together. I mean, they might not have had the same director because, different directors directed Star Wars, but he was always there, make sure things went out, go the way that his vision was. Because when you write something, you have a vision of what it's supposed to look like. You're writing it with that in your mind.
Right.
Then you write something, and a lot of times what they're doing is they're just getting these writers, they're just writing stuff, and then they're not even there on set no more. How is the writer not on set?
Right.
So if something needs to be changed, like, no, that's not working, we need to change that. They can be there. Then you just got some random person making changes, the director or whoever, that doesn't have that vision, so then it doesn't look the same. There's a reason things went the way that they did for years and years and years in Hollywood. If a writer wrote something, they were there on set. Now they don't even do that no more. They get done writing it, they hand it over, and it's done. And that's one of the things that the writers are complaining about. Like, dude, we're writing stuff, and then it's not even the story that we wrote. And then you don't want to pay us for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's not the story that we wrote.
I think
we changed 90% of it, so it's not your story no more, so we don't have to pay you. Like, no, I wrote the story.
At the end of the day, I think filmmaking can't always be run like a scientific business, because it's not. No matter what you do, there's going to be some kind of element of, like, and I hate to say it, but like, there's an element of art to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
An element of good writing, good storytelling that can't be quantified and can't be plugged into a business calculator. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is the thing. If you think about it, look at like an artist or an author. They don't get paid until the stuff is done. An artist, they go in, they paint a beautiful painting. Then the painting goes to the art gallery, and then the art gallery sells the painting. The painting's already done. You know what I'm saying? What they're doing is they're taking the art out of it, and they're just trying to make the money. They're making the money before the stuff even comes out, because they're already selling merchandise and everything for the stuff before it even comes out. And they're taking the art out of it. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with, books. Like, they were promoting and selling, they were selling the book, the High Republic books, 6 months before the first part came out. You could already go on Amazon and pre-order this shit. Like, why are you doing that? Like, what if your shit sucks and I done paid for this? Like, let it come out. Let me read it, and, you know what I'm saying? Like at least read the back page of the book. You know what I'm saying? The back of the book, to see if I want to buy the book. And then I'm going to buy the book, and I'm going to read the book, and I'm going to like the book or not like the book. You're basically shoving the book down my throat before I even get a chance to even know anything about the book. And that's one of the biggest things. Chris says, do you think Indiana Jones isn't doing so well due to Harrison's age? With these John Wick and Extraction movies nowadays, I think it is tough to see this old guy limp through a movie.
I don't know if it's... I wouldn't say that's it.
Like I said, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really comment on it too much. But I think
I have my own ideas of why it's not doing good. But I think that comes from the old fans who love the old Indiana Jones, haven't liked the way Disney's been doing things recently, and so they're just not willing to give it a try because... Well,
and I think another thing that's ruining things, and this is the honest to God truth. Why go to the movies and spend $100 for one night? This is just your average person. Why go to the movies and spend $100 for one night to go, you and your wife or you and somebody else, to go to the movies, buy popcorn, buy all that shit, spend all this money, and in 90 days it's coming out on a streaming platform that you're already paying for? I think these streaming platforms is really ruining the overall movie-going experience. And people are just not going anymore. Like, why am I going to pay to watch something twice? And literally, most movies nowadays are within 90 days are on the streaming service. So before, you remember when movies came out, you had to wait like a year before the shit came out on DVD. It was forever before it came out on DVD. By that time, it was like watching it all over again. So you didn't mind going out and buying a DVD or VHS. VHS, it was this thing, it was like a big square, and you put it in this VHS player. For y'all that don't know what that is, because, that's kind of old-timey, but, it was a tape It was basically a giant cassette tape you put in this thing and it came on your TV. But and then nowadays a lot of people ain't going to see movies because shit, you can just bootleg that shit. Man, you know how many damn torrent sites and freaking shit they streaming, black market streaming shit online and shit. Dude, and so a lot of people are watching this shit for free. Then you got everybody that's, that tries to do the right thing, at least pays for the streaming service. It'll be out on Disney Plus in, 2 more months. And so people just don't, it's like only people that go to the movies anymore is people that are going for the nostalgia of the movies. And a lot of shit is just coming direct to streaming, or shit, people are just putting shit out on YouTube. There's a lot of freaking movies out on YouTube, Amazon Prime.
I think a lot of it comes down to, like, Disney's movies just aren't as good anymore. So why go pay money when they're going to come out on Disney Plus in a couple days anyways?
Well, and that's another thing is when people are like, they don't know, it's like flipping a coin. It's like, dude, you don't know if you're going to get heads or tails. You don't know if this is going to be good or bad anymore. And that's just not even with Disney. That's just with all the movie platforms, all the major production companies. Like, dude, some of the best movies I've seen lately is independent films, under $100,000 films. Great freaking films, good CGI, everything, and these shit is done in, low budget studios. They're not even done by the big studios. And some great movies is coming out. Shit is being shot on, mirrorless cameras and iPhones and Samsung phones and shit, and just good stories. And, you can go on YouTube and teach yourself how to freaking do everything. So these people are like people that never went to film school, never did shit, are coming out with excellent films. And it's like, dude, why would I go to the movies when I can watch some shit on YouTube that's better than the shit I go to the movies that this company put $500 million into making? Because they're taking people are taking pride in the shit that they're doing. Like these companies don't take pride. It's just about money for them. And now they're not making the money, and now they're getting scared. Because they're like, holy shit, this guy made this movie for, $100,000, and they made $100 million off of this movie. Because all the old stuff is gone. Like, dude, like going to Sundance and all that shit. Like, before you come out with a film, you go take it to Sundance or Tribeca or the Toronto Film Festival or West by Southwest Film Festival. You took it there. You got, there was all kind of different publicity and all this different stuff. You get there and then somebody would buy your film, or they would tell you that they wanted to produce your film. Then you went out there and you got your film produced, or you sold the film and you made money. That whole thing is gone now. So we're not getting a lot of new directors and new stuff. The stuff that we are getting that's coming from new directors, these are all independent directors and independent filmmakers, and they're coming out with shit that's way better than these big production companies, because they're putting heart and soul into it. They're putting their livelihood online. They done took out loans and they crowdfunded this shit, and they put their heart and soul into that shit. So they're making great fucking movies. And because of that, these giant conglomerates like Disney and Paramount and Sony and everybody, they're Lionsgate, they're scared. And then there are movies that they're putting all this money to it, and they're not getting it. Like, dude, you don't need to make a $300 million film. You just need to make a good story. Right. You don't need all that damn CGI shit and stuff, which is some of it's good. Like the one shit with what's that one movie? I just watched it. It's like a new Marvel movie about the 10 rings or whatever. That shit was crazy. Dude, that movie is good. Like, I like that movie. It was a lot of action. It had a pretty good storyline to it. You know what I'm saying? It was a good overall movie. But they spent a year filming just the bus scene on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of money. And did they get their money back? I didn't even know about it till I seen it on Disney Plus. True. So I just think that I don't know, man. I just do not think that these big corporations understand that people just want, and they're not gonna make the box office like they used to. People are not spending money like that no more. Unless you're like an old guy like me that just likes the nostalgia of going to the movie. Like, I went to the movies and seen John Wick the first day it came out. There was only like 100 people in the damn movies to watch it.
Yeah, theaters are never going to be what they used to
Like,
be.
they're just not the same. And they did it. These companies did that by coming out with these streaming services. Everybody, like, don't get me wrong, I like the streaming services, but
What did you expect when they made it?
you know, like, I don't know why they didn't predict this to happen.
Right. Speaking of streaming services, one thing that Bob Iger did say, he did kind of hint at Disney possibly licensing their content to other streaming services.
Yeah.
And other streaming platforms.
Marvel and Disney are Marvel and Star Wars is not from one of the things that I read. They're not putting that in there, but it's like so ESPN, National Geographics, and something else, Pixar, I think. Oh, was it Pixar?
All I'm saying, it's one step closer to an HBO Max Star Wars.
Nah, they're not going to give a Star Wars,
I mean, it won't.
Marvel, Star Wars, Marvel.
It's one step closer.
And Star Wars and Marvel is their two, and regular Disney, you know, their regular Disney films are their 30 largest money makers. They're not going to give up that stuff. They'll give up stuff like, you know, National Geographics. Pixar makes pretty good money, but they have their last Pixar movies, all three of them really didn't do that well. So I can see them doing Pixar. I can see them doing ESPN, because I don't know why y'all buy ESPN. You're not a sports network. You know what I'm saying? National Geographic, that kind of flows with Disney, you know what I'm saying? Lion King, shit like that. So, you know, I could see that. But dude, ESPN, why did you buy ESPN? That was just a waste of money. You guys don't know shit about sports. You're not a sports affiliated thing. Like, but that's the thing. When you got money, you can buy the shit that you want. If you think you're going to make money off of it, and then if you don't make money off of it, you can always sell it off. And no matter if they sold off Star Wars, they sold off Marvel, they sold off any of them, they're going to make money. Because you got to think about it. Star Wars, they bought for $4.2 billion or whatever they gave George Lucas for that shit. Just imagine what it's worth now. Even with all the fuck ups that they did, it's still worth a fucking, anybody in their right mind would buy Star Wars for $10 billion easy, $100 billion easy. They would do it. Because they know the possibilities of what they could do with it. They know if they came in and created great content, just the name alone is worth, you know, at least $10 billion just off of that. Star Wars team leader said, then you got people like me, I watch it free a week before it comes out. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, because there's all the bootleg shit. Like, dude, you know how many movies I've seen just by looking the shit up online, and the first thing that pops up is a freaking streaming site that I've never heard of that you click on, and you can watch a movie a week before it even comes out. Like, dude, why am I going to the movies to spend money? Like, I mean, I do it because I love the nostalgia of the movie. I like going to sit in the movie. I like being around other fans of whatever genre that I'm watching.
I think it does enhance the quality. Maybe not the quality, but it enhances the experience of the movie.
Well, look, man, where else are you going to go watch a fucking movie on a screen the size of a fucking football field? You know what I'm saying?
It makes the movie better. Come on.
Yeah, it just, then you get to eat the popcorn, you're there, it's in a dark place, you got your girl there, you know, you cuddled up with her and shit, you enjoy the thing, you hear other fans' reactions when something happens. Right. It's the nostalgia of it.
And the immersion.
I'll never stop going to the movie. I'll never stop going to the movie, but I just don't think that people just don't spend the money. And I think Bob Iger realizes that. So he's like, all right, we need to really put out content that is going to be good. That's why he made the announcement back when he took over. He said, we're going to be pulling back on some of this stuff and start working on, instead of quantity, we're going to work on quality. Quality always out trumps quantity, except if you're a YouTuber. YouTube, I don't know what it is. YouTube just, like, YouTube, the more stuff you put out, the more they promote your shit. That's just the way YouTube works. And I think that's a lot of people have that mentality because of how big YouTube got. You know, YouTube is freaking the second largest search engine on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Like 1 billion people come to YouTube every single day. You know what I'm saying? Or more. So you think about that, and I think a lot of people come into that mentality that you got to put out as much shit because any YouTube guru person will tell you the more content you put out, the more YouTube will promote you. And it's true. I've done it. I've seen it happen. If you put out a video every day, YouTube will start promoting the shit out of your shit. But you're just putting out just quick garbage content because you're just trying to rush the content out. And I think that these big companies seen that shit and seen what Google was doing with YouTube and said, okay, we need to do this. Well, that doesn't work when it's coming to content that we want to watch. When you're watching YouTube, you're watching funny videos. I mean, shit, cat videos went viral for like 3 years. It was stupid. People just watching dumb cat videos for fucking 10 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't, it was just quick things. You know what I'm saying? Then they went to these story things, you know, same thing with Instagram and stuff. They went to the story shit and everything was stories and then they got reels. Everything's quick content. But when I'm watching a TV series, I don't care about quick content. I'm trying to watch the series. Right. If I'm watching a movie, I'm watching the movie. You know what I'm saying? And I've been talking to a lot of people about this because I've been trying to get some people's, you know, feedback. You know what I'm saying? Would you rather go to the movies, spend $7 and watch a 10-minute long short film, or would you rather want to go watch a 2-hour film? I want to watch a 2-hour film because you already know what to expect. You're going to the movies. You're seeing a movie. It's not about quick content. And they think that they put these quick content scenarios in these things. They're quick scenes now. A scene used to stretch. They had a scene, and there was a certain amount of time within that scene. You know, the scene might be 10 seconds, but, you know what I'm saying, in that 10 seconds, shit happened in the scene. Now they don't do that no more. It's just boom, scene happens, 1 second, blows up, on to the next scene. You know, there's no story there. Like, what the hell happened? What's going on? You should never go to a movie, sit down and watch a movie unless it was designed this way. Like The Sixth Sense was designed to confuse you. That's the way it was written, was ordered to confuse what the hell's going on. That was the object of the movie. But you should never go to a movie, sit down and watch a movie, and when you leave the movie, like, what the hell just happened? Like, I don't even know what happened. You should never have to watch a movie 5 times to figure out what the hell happened. True. It shouldn't happen. And a lot of the reasons that they do that shit because they want you to go see it at the movies. You go see it at the movies. You still kind of don't understand what's going on. Like, what the hell? Then when the DVD or it comes out on the streaming service, you got to watch it again. So now they got to double up on their money. But that's not a good, I'd rather understand what's going on at the movie, let the movie beginning, middle, end. You know what I'm saying? Of the movie, or, you know, end it where it's going to lead into a trilogy or, you know what I'm saying, a sequel or whatever. But at least I know where I'm standing. When you don't even know where you're standing, you're just left confused. And a lot of the stories within these movies leave you confused. And because it's just all action. It's all boom, boom, blow up, explosion, freaking this, and, you know what I'm saying, dude fly through the air, and, you know what I'm saying, and it's like, dude, where's the story at? And I'm a big action guy. Don't get me wrong, I love action. I'm an action fanatic. Me too. But at the same time, if it doesn't have no story, the action is meaningless. Like, I just seen some shit blow up. Like, dude, I can watch that anywhere. Like, I can go watch YouTube tutorials of shit blowing up all day and cars exploding and people getting their ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? Watch bum fights on YouTube. Go to, you know, World Star Hip Hop. You see people fighting on that shit all the damn time. I don't need to watch a movie to get those type of things. And I think that that's where, I think that is truly where everything is starting to mess up. Let's see. Let's go back and catch some of the, let's see. Chris says, Disney kind of screwed themselves by bringing these movies straight to streaming platforms. Weren't they the first platform to do that? I don't know if they were the first platform, because I don't know if they were or not.
Definitely up there, but I remember
they were definitely up there, though.
They did that with a bunch of their movies.
But if you're going to do that, just do that. Like, the only problem is I think that they're stuck in this position where for years the majority of their money came from the box office, people going to see the movies. And then they started this new streaming service. You know, all these different companies started these new streaming services, and when they started the streaming services, that took away from the box office. Right. So then they started going direct to the streaming service. Well, you know, people ain't going to just pay for a streaming service just to watch this one movie that they wanted to watch. So you have the people that's going to the theaters that are actually going to see the movie. And then you have other people that are paying for the streaming services, which I don't, they sit back and try to say that they don't make the money off of Disney Plus. And I'm like, dude, frick, everybody I know has Disney Plus. What are you talking about? Like, dude, you guys got to be making freaking billions of dollars off of that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, now you got like this mixed area. But then you got companies like HBO that never made movies. Now they're making movies that took away from your viewership too. HBO didn't make movies like that. Every great once in a while HBO had a movie, but they wasn't making movies like they are now. You know what I'm saying? They're not getting these high-end directors to make movies just for HBO that are never even coming out at the movies.
Oh, I thought they always made movies, bro.
I mean, they made movies,
They've
but
been making shit for a while.
Yeah, but
not. You're right. Not at
the scale that they're doing shit now, and not with the directors that they're doing it with now.
And definitely not like the quality and just the.
You know what I'm saying? So now you got more competition because you got Peacock, you got Hulu, you got Disney owns Hulu, but you got HBO Max, you got Peacock, you got all these different companies, and they're all competing. Netflix, you got all these companies that they're making TV shows, they're making movies, and a lot of them, Netflix, Peacock, HBO Max, they're all going straight. They're not going to the movies with their shit. They're taking their shit straight to the streaming service. So then they're getting that shit because every month a new movie's coming out and they're already paying for it. Yeah, and they do that too. They keep sneaking the price up on every damn thing. Shit, I think now I pay more for all the damn streaming services that I got than I did for cable. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, the whole point of going to the streaming services because I'm like, dude, I don't watch none of these channels, so why am I paying for cable? So I got the streaming services, now I got so many damn streaming channels that I'm paying more than I was for cable. But I think that's where the thing is, and I think Disney has to understand you're not going to make the money at the box office in 90 days. You're coming out with it on the stream. And they have to come out with it in 90 days because these other streaming services are coming out with shit instantly. Like, dude, come on, John Wick. I went to the movies and not even a month later, that shit was on Amazon Prime. I was like, holy shit, it's already on Amazon Prime. Why? Shit. And I took everybody. We all went. I paid for everybody to go. That shit was like $500. You know what I'm saying? I took all the kids, the girls, we all went. I paid for all that shit. And that shit was like $500. And then a month later, I could have watched it. I did. I rented it on Amazon Prime and watched it again because it's that good. But it's a good story.
Right.
The story was good. It's just, it's heartbreaking because it's somebody that's worked in the film industry, you know what I'm saying, that's done stuff, and it's working on doing stuff now, the way that things are going. It's like, dude, it's kind of cool because my shit might actually get made into a fucking movie, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it sucks because Star Wars is suffering, Marvel is suffering, the stuff that I really love watching that is just been coming out is suffering because of it. And nobody's to blame but the platforms themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the crazy thing.
The upper levels, yeah.
Dr. Kari says, I only go to the movies on date night. Otherwise, we pirate them. LL Screw Hollywood.
But I think this is a good sign from Iger. I think it's a good sign that they're taking a step back, reevaluating the strategy that they've been taking, and we might see an improvement in the future, hopefully.
Well, we know Andor's coming out because Tony Gilroy already read it, from my understanding, that it's already been shot. We know Ahsoka's coming out. We know...
Which we do have the trailer for that.
Yeah, we're going to watch that here in a minute because that shit is dope. We know that the Skeleton Crew is coming out because it was all done. I think Acolyte's on the back burner right now because of the Writers Guild because they wasn't done shooting. So I don't know if they're in Europe. Well, I don't think it matters what part of the world you're in. I think the Actors Guild and the Writers Guild is everywhere. But I know it was already written. I know that the fucking rumor that was going around that they canceled the shit was bullshit. I know that, but I don't know if they're shooting, if they were done shooting or not. But I know that the Skeleton Crew was done shooting. I know that Ahsoka was done shooting, and I know that Andor was done shooting. So with those three, I don't know if Andor is or not. Because then they say Andor was going to shoot into 2024.
Oh, I don't remember. Andor.
Yeah, I think they were shooting into 2024. I think it was done. I think it was written. And I know Tony Gilroy is part of the strike for the actor or the Writers Guild.
It's supposed to wrap up in August 2023.
Oh, so they might not be done. So we might have to wait on Andor it might push Andor out. See, Star Wars Team Leader. Every time Empire Strikes Back comes to the big screen, I go and watch it. Every time they bring a Star Wars movie and put it back in theaters, I go watch the shit. Every movie. I don't even care if it's a sequel trilogy. I got to go to the movies and watch Star Wars.
No.
I'm
I
going.
won't watch the sequel trilogy.
I am going. Hey, you be missing out on some shit. They be showing director cuts and all kind of shit at the end of those.
I can't. Yeah. You can't make it better.
Yeah, it makes it a lot funnier. I go watch. I don't care anything the Star Wars. They could put on the holiday special at the damn box office. I'm going to watch that shit because it's Star Wars and it's on the big screen. I'm going to watch it. That's just me though. It's just nothing like that. It's just fun. It's so much more fun to go. But that's just me. I'm old. You know what I'm saying? That's how we got content. If not, you had to wait. Like everybody told you about. You already knew what the movie was completely about before it ever came out on DVD or VHS. You know, then you had to go to Blockbuster. That was a store that you had to go rent these VHS and DVDs at. For all y'all that don't know what Blockbuster is, because you know that's kind of old too. But you had to go to Blockbuster, and then you had to you know how many movies I've seen just because of the cover art. Like, they don't even make good cover art on shit no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, basically, if the cover art looked good, that's how you picked your movie out. You picked it up, looked at the back, oh, this seems interesting. You go home, watch it, and it was some garbage B movie. Like, this is the most terrible movie I ever seen. But you would have never known that because you wouldn't have rented it. You actually had to go somewhere and rent a movie. You know what I'm saying? And then if it was good enough, you went and bought it on DVD or VHS, right. Or you just broke them little tabs or filled in them little tabs and just bootlegged it because you could just hook two VHS players together and play it on one and record it on another. They had these little tabs on the VHS that you.
Oh, really?
They wasn't on the ones that came from Blockbuster. You just put some tape over that shit and pop it in there, and it would record. You could record. Yeah, I'm old. Yeah. Bootlegging movies have been around forever. But, you know, it's one of those things that, it just sucks because it's like almost like the downfall. It's not just them pulling back just Disney. A lot of companies is doing stuff because it's almost like the downfall of major movie production companies. Which is not a big deal to me. I mean, I don't give a shit. I don't make no money off of their asses anyway.
And I see it more as like, you see it as a downfall. I see it as a more, all right, we realize that we've been fucking up and doing things poorly recently, so let's fix it.
Well, I mean, if they can't fix it, it might be at a point that it can't be fixed anymore. A lot of people are just tired of the shit, and they're like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
And I'm not gonna say a downfall of major production companies. I'm seeing like it's almost on like a downfall of movie theaters. Like movie theaters might just go away because people ain't going to the movies like they used to. Like, dude, when I go to see John Wick and it's like the damn theater sets 500 people and there's less than 100 people in there, dude. That. And I mean, you have to like John Wick. You know what I'm saying? Like my wife isn't a really big fan of John Wick, but she goes because of me. But then I go see movies that she wants to see that I don't want to see. Like, I didn't want to go see none of the damn freaking Twilight series in the movies. But, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Kyle loves Twilight.
I like the last two. Or the one where the werewolf. I just like the ones where they're fighting. Good, actually. That's the only thing I like is the fighting. Other than that, the storyline. I mean, and even to really break it down, Twilight's storyline wasn't bad. It had a good storyline. It just was boring.
It's just not one that I'm into. Right?
Yes, you know, it had a good storyline. Like, when what's her face wrote that,
Stephanie
she did a
Meyer.
great job of writing that. And when they voted from the books into the movies, they did a good job. I mean, I can't complain about the production of it and the story of it. It was just boring as shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, what the hell up, man? Dude, I don't care about these two teenagers. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it just wasn't your cup of tea, but it was still good. Like,
Yeah, it was still good.
Yeah.
I watched that over Book of Kenobi because Jesus,
Oh man.
that shit just hurt my heart. Like, dude,
Yes.
and that's the sad when you take a character that is loved. That's the thing to get. I think Bob
much.
Iger was like, "What the fuck were y'all thinking coming out with this shit?
He
The
must
hell
have
is
seen
wrong
it
with y'all?"
too. He saw
I'm
it too. He's
surprised he
like,
didn't-
fucking. He's like, I'm coming back to clean up y'all's shit.
Because it's like, dude, man, because you can't do Boba Fett like that. Boba Fett is an iconic character. He is a badass of Star Wars. He was somebody that you was like, oh shit, I hope I didn't ever have to meet that dude. And they turned Mando into him and then turned him into some nobody. You know what I'm saying? Some cake baking guy. You know what I'm saying? Because Mando was like dead or alive. You know what I'm saying? I can take you in hot or cold. It does, you know, whatever. You know, now that's like Boba Fett. You know what I'm saying? You was cut. I'm taking you. I'll disintegrate your ass. I'll bring your ashes back, you piece of shit. To here, you want some cookies? Let me save this town. You know, what are you guys talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It breaks my heart to see them take a franchise that is so loved by so many people and put out stuff that's just not good. And that's why I was happy that Bob Iger came back. But at the same time, I know Bob Iger did some bad shit too, and a lot of the shit with Florida and, you know, him talking shit about people and right now he's not in the best position because he's talking shit about the actors and the writers and shit, talking about they want too much and all this. Like, dude, just shut the fuck up and run the company. Quit saying shit. You're gonna get none of the actors is gonna come back and fucking act for you, you fucking idiot. Shut up. So it's like, you know, there's just a lot of stuff that's just going on. I think what's going to really happen, and this is just my opinion, I think there's going to be like a complete overhaul of the movie industry, because everything, like the old premise the old model, the old way of doing things is not working. It's not. You can't do that no more. You got all these streaming services. You got direct to video. You know what I'm saying? So everything's online. These companies cannot make the millions and millions of dollars that they used to make anymore, because you just got too many independent film directors that are coming out that are making phenomenal movies. They're getting a name for themselves. They're going right straight to Netflix and Prime Video. I mean, shit, anybody can make. You could literally go out right now with your cell phone, write a good story, shoot the entire film on your damn iPhone, and then send that shit direct to Prime for Video. Anybody can do that. Anybody. You can go right to Prime Video. You can you just set up a Prime account or a account and create a Prime account and put your movie on Prime. I mean, shit, our podcast is on Prime. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's just that easy to get content out now. So these big corporations that are, you know, pumping $300 million out to make a movie, and it's not bringing them their money back, they're going to start to fail. I'm just waiting for the major flop. You know what I'm saying? Like the major flop where they spend $500 million on a movie to make a movie and the shit makes $10 million. Because that shit will shut down a company. You do some shit like that. That shit will freaking, yeah, you done lost $490 million. Yeah, everybody's getting fired.
You're waiting for Bud Light movies.
Yep. And you got that. You know, Bodie Collection said, remember Black Widow changed the game because Scarlett Johansson sued fucking Disney. You got the actors and the writers and shit suing these major companies because they're not getting paid. Just the whole structure of the movie industry is changing. Now, is it changing for the better? Are we going to start getting better content? We're going to start getting better stuff? Or is it just going to fucking collapse and have to be completely rebuilt? Because if it completely collapses and it has to be rebuilt, and you know what I'm saying, these companies, like, why would Disney spend $500 million in a movie when they can make movies for $10 million? Which I guarantee they tell you they're making it for $500 million. They ain't spending $500 million. What did Steven Spielberg say? He did an interview. I was watching it on YouTube, and he said, take that zero off the end. That's what they actually spent on it. So if they said $500 million, it was $50 million. You know what I'm saying? They didn't spend that much money on making that movie. They just tell you that to get you in the box office because you think that it's going to be all this way out, you know, extravagant shit. It don't ever cost that much money. And I know that just from you know, personal experience being on set of shit and doing voice recordings. And it's like, dude, you guys are using like the same shit I have in my house that I spent $5,000 on. You know what I'm saying? I'm using the same shit. So, you know, don't tell me this cost $500 million to make this fucking movie. It didn't. But, you know, it's just one of those things. That's why I fear. That's my fear point. Is it's just going to collapse, and which might not be a bad thing. It'll give a lot of people opportunities. Right. A lot of actors that have been out there for a very long time that never got no, you know, good accreditations or got into any good movies, that are really good actors, writers. I mean, I know a lot of writers that have written some excellent movies, and as soon as they take them to the thing, they don't even read them. They just throw the shit in the trash because they're not these well-known directors and well-known writers. So, you know, it might be an opportunity for a lot of people to be able to come out with, and which is good for me because I wrote, like, you know what I'm saying, some stuff, and I want to get my shit, you know, I would love to see my movie get made, but it just matters if it happens. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what is going to happen right now, but I do see a complete restructure coming. And I think Bob Iger sees it too. And he's like, dude, we got to make some changes because we got to get some people spending money because they're not making their money back. I think out of their last 10 films, they didn't, I don't think they even broke even on any of their last 10 films that they put out. Or like 5 or 10 or whatever it is. Because they were showing it, let me see if I can pull it up. I might be able to pull it up on screen because I just seen it on a news thing. They were showing it. I just read an article about it. You know, while we're looking that up, while we're just keeping talking here, it says, Bodie says, yeah, exactly, LL. That's why when people hate on movies saying they didn't break even, it's not that relevant. They pulled clips from YouTube for the Flash, LL, laughing my ass off. Yeah, but even if you made it for $50 million and you only made $100 million, you only doubled your money when they're used to selling it for, you know, made it for $50 million and it made $500 million or $1 billion at the box office. Then that's a company, whatever they spend, they need to make 90% more than what they spend. So at your job, you only get paid 10% of what your company makes off of the work that you do. That's the national average right now. So if you're getting paid $20 an hour, they're making $200 an hour off of you. That's the national average right now. Companies only pay their employees 10% of what their profit is. So you got to figure if they made a movie for $50 million, they need to make they need to make $500 million off of that movie to stay in the red or to stay out of the red. That's how they make money. That's how they keep their stocks up and everything. So when you make you make a movie for $50 million and you only made $120 million at the box office, not good. Not good at all. You're actually losing money. They look at it as they're losing money. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and let's watch the Ahsoka trailer, and I'm gonna look this thing up to see what the last ones was. Present setting Star Wars.
But I agree with you. Like, the film industry it's changing, and it's going to be changing. Yeah,
it's definitely changing.
And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. When I saw the announcement about Bob Iger, I was kind of surprised, but I'm kind of happy. I'm excited to see the new direction it's going to go, and hopefully it's an improvement. And if not, we'll get back on track eventually.
Well, it's just like, you know, Bodie said something about the Flash. I don't like the Flash because I don't like the dude that plays the Flash. I don't like him. The new
I didn't
Flash
watch
in
any
the
of it,
movies.
yeah.
I don't like him. The Flash is the dude that was on the TV show. That's who they should have got to play in the movies. He's the only Flash
gotcha.
to me. I like him. I don't like the other dude. I didn't like him in fucking the what is it? The DC Justice League. Didn't like him. I didn't like that shit. I don't like him as an actor. He didn't play. Not that I don't like him as an actor. I don't like him. I just don't like the way he plays that part. Because I've seen him in other stuff and he's a good actor, but I just don't like him as the Flash. It just does. It's not believable to me.
War is inevitable. One must destroy in order to create. We are no Jedi.
Why is it like that?
I started hearing whispers of Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
What happens when we find Thrawn?
Power, such as you've never dreamed.
I've spent most of my life fighting a war. That's why I'm trying to convince you to help me prevent another one. You and I both know who could help you with this.
She's still just as stubborn as ever.
I bet your master found you difficult at times.
Anakin never got to finish my training. I walked away from him, just like I walked away from Sabine.
You never made things easy for me, Master.
Okay.
As a Jedi,
Okay. This is something that kind of bothered me. Because in Rebels, they don't ever talk about her having any Force abilities.
Yeah, and now she apparently is.
And now she apparently is Ahsoka's apprentice. I don't know how that's going to turn out. I don't know which way that story. That kind of worried me. Like, okay, what are they talking about? What? Like, I watched this shit like 5 times, and I was just like, okay, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Dr. Kari says Ezra should be in prison. What do you mean? Like, why him
I
and
think he's
Thrawn
talking
was
about the
together?
actor.
Oh.
The Flash actor.
Yeah, I just like I'm trying to I didn't understand that. Like, okay, what do you mean, master? Like, what are you talking about? Which then kind of sets back and will kind of gives you an idea.
What?
Chris says she still doesn't. I think she is just in training her for lightsaber since she has used the dark saber.
We'll see. Yeah.
Well,
keep
why
playing.
would she need to be trained in saber combat when in Rebels, what's his face trains her in saber combat? He shows her all the stuff that she needs to know. She was good enough to beat what's his face. Yeah, but has no power the way she says it. That, you know what I'm saying? Like, your force ability, like, that's like Obi-Wan's force ability compared to other Jedis. Obi-Wan's force ability wasn't that strong. He was almost not even a Jedi.
Yeah, there's definitely a hint there.
You
I
know
wouldn't
what I'm
say
saying?
it's confirmed or denied, but that's definitely hinting at it.
Yeah, and I mean, for a Sith to say you have no power, considering like the way that they feel about power.
That's the Sith in general.
Yeah, they're gonna say you're
That's
not
just
strong
a
as I
jab.
am, or your power is nowhere even compatible to mine, and you know that's how all Sith feel. Because Obi-Wan was almost sent away until Qui-Gon took him as his apprentice. Obi-Wan almost didn't become a Jedi. He almost got sent because his force abilities was so weak. You know, he didn't have a very strong, if you read by the books, Obi-Wan's force abilities was very, very minute compared to other Jedis within the temple or the other Padawans at that time. So, you know what I'm saying, to say you don't have no power, I mean, that could mean a lot of different things. But she definitely says it, okay, master. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, They're comparing Ahsoka and Anakin's, master apprentice role to her, and she wouldn't even Ahsoka wouldn't even train Grogu that definitely has a strong force ability. You know what I'm saying? To Sabine, not having none at all. Like, why would she train her at all then? Why, I mean, it
I say let's keep watching.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just kind of threw me off.
So Chris says, I also think Dave wouldn't just all of a sudden give her force abilities out of nowhere. Yeah, but it's on par for Disney.
Yeah, but Dave wrote it all.
Yeah, but you guys have this undying faith in
she
him.
Could have had force abilities
Disney's
back then, and they
Dave.
just didn't realize that she had force abilities. I mean, it's always a possibility, but it was just kind of weird, I mean, anything's possible. Shit, they brought back Maul and fucking Palpatine, so anything's possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't put nothing past anything.
Sometimes you have to make the decision no one else can.
But he's talking to her about being a Jedi. You know what I'm saying? Why would he be talking to her about being a Jedi if she's not training to be a Jedi? And the only way you could be a Jedi is to have force abilities. You can't just be some random guy off the street and be a Jedi. You know what I'm saying? They'll just train anybody, which this is a different time period. So
maybe they're getting desperate.
Yeah, they're just taking anybody. Yo, you got some fighting abilities. Here come fucking, you know what I'm saying?
Hold this
be a
glow
Jedi.
stick. Still better Jedi than Rey.
I'm counting on you to see this through.
Nice haircut. Sometimes we have to do what's right, regardless of our personal feelings.
Buckle up.
If we don't stop Thrawn, everything will be in vain. You have no power.
Well, see, right there, she's putting...
Bro,
okay.
she tried to use the Force. Are you kidding me? They're
Yeah, she's trying to use the Force.
So
maybe maybe Ahsoka left her before her training was done, but she's trying to use the Force right there. You see her trying to use the Force.
She's Force sensitive. They made her Force sensitive for sure.
Which I'm not, you know what I'm saying? It would definitely show why she was so good in Rebels at, you know what I'm saying, figuring out situations, getting out of situations, she might be like Bane and had Force abilities the whole time and just didn't know that that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, or maybe she was scared to say something because Mandalorians hate the Jedi so much. You know what I'm saying? It's been bred into them for so long. I don't know. We'll have to see. But that kind of excited. I mean, it kind of excited me, but it confused me at the same time. I was like, what the fuck? When the hell did she get fucking Force abilities? Why the hell is Ahsoka training her? You know what I'm saying? But she wasn't training fucking... Maybe because she fucked up. Maybe Ahsoka thought maybe her Force ability is just so minute, and Ahsoka thought that she could train her when she realized that you don't have enough Force ability. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody has a Force in them, but your metachlorian account dictates whether or not you can use the Force. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We
No,
only got a month
I'm
to go.
pretty sure.
It's like literally we got like just a little over a month to go. Because what's today, the 15th? So we got literally a month and 7 days until Ahsoka comes out. So we'll find out.
Spoke highly of you.
I'm not
Okay,
here
that's another
to
thing.
discuss
That's another
my
thing. Okay.
past.
He says Anakin spoke highly of you. So who is this dude?
He knows Anakin apparently.
Yeah, he knows Anakin apparently.
He's an ex-Jedi.
That's what I'm thinking. He's an ex-Jedi that went to the dark side.
Yeah.
I ain't read up on him, so I don't know. So I'm asking y'all because I haven't really researched it. I haven't researched it.
I'm excited for him.
We have a lot of work to do.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
It looks all right.
I don't know. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good.
It's all right. I don't know. It looks all right. I'm not sure what to expect yet because I've seen some dope previews, but
Yeah, some
previews
trailers,
don't
it
always
was
tell
pretty
the
good.
trailers don't always tell the full story.
I don't know. I think it's going to be good. I don't know. I just have a feeling that Dave wrote it really good because you got to understand this was completely written by Dave. And Dave wrote all the Rebels. Dave wrote in the Clone Wars, a lot of the Clone Wars. So, I think he has a general direction of how he wants the character to go. So I think he's going to do better than just throw a bunch of CGI at us and say, here you go. I think he directed. I mean, he did everything on this, so this is his baby. So I think it's going to be good. I think Dave's going to give us something good. I hope he gives us something good because if it's garbage, I'm going to be so upset. Like, please do not ruin Ahsoka for me.
I have low hopes, so I can't be too disappointed.
Nah. So, you want to get to news and rumors? I was going to look up I looked up the thing. I tried to look it up. I can't find it wherever it was. But I know that they lost money on like their last 5 or 10 films or something like that.
All right, let's get to news and rumors, even though most of the show has been news and rumors.
This is Alton Castle for the only news you need, the HoloNet News.
Okay, so the first one for the video game fans, Outlaws. Okay, I know we've talked about Outlaws before. I'm not super excited for it just because a lot of us were expecting kind of a create your own character kind of thing. And that's obviously not going to be the case anymore. And we're kind of stuck playing this character. So, I mean, that's a little bit of a bummer for a lot of people. But on the bright side, they did say that the map is going to be huge. They compared it to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Which, if any of you had played that, that's a massive, massive map. It took forever just to sail from one side of the map to the other. And they said, I'll say what I want to read what they said exactly so I can get it right. Creative director Julian Gardy explained that the exploring each playable planet will be something of an odyssey in and of itself, with some worlds doubling to tripling the size of one of Assassin's Creed Odyssey's 7 zones. So each map is doubling, triple the size of an Odyssey zone. All the worlds in the video game are designed from scratch by Ubisoft and are not procedurally generated. That being said, each world does have fixed locations that you can visit above the planet and on the surface. So I guess we'll see how good it is. But I guess that's promising a pretty big map. That's it for the video game. Star Wars team leader says pre-orders have started for the Scout Trooper helmets for Black Series. So for the action figure fans, y'all are going to be happy about that. Kyle, do you have anything?
So, all right, I did find it. So, yeah, 2022 Strange Worlds was a $147 million loss. Mulan 2020 was a $150 million loss. Jungle Cruise 2021 was a $151 million loss.
Jeez, that was a loss too?
Yep. Turning Red,
that was
$167 million loss. Tomorrowland was a $170 million loss. That was in 2015. I don't even know why that's on the list. Mars Needs Mom, which was 2011. What the hell? This ain't the list that I was just looking at. 13th Warrior, $210 million loss. The Lone Ranger. What the fuck? This ain't the one I was looking at. Okay, I'll find it. So in
altogether they've lost over 900 million.
Yeah, they lost a lot of money in the last 20 years. So in the comics, in the Darth Vader comic series, I guess it's the dark now comic. Which one is it?
I mean, The Little Mermaid apparently had a huge loss too.
Yeah, Little Mermaid had a loss. I was looking at the list earlier. I don't know where that list came from. I
guess it neared 500 million.
So in the comic book, in the Darth Vader comic reveals that metachlorians, microscopic force-sensitive beings, were influenced by Palpatine inside Shmi Skywalker's womb and created Anakin Skywalker in a very special way. So basically, and this is canon, it's a canon comic book, they explained how Anakin really was of the Force. So Anakin was actually fathered by the Force in a Star Wars canon comic book. So now it is answered. We have the answer.
I hate those comic books, man.
Comic books, a lot of the comic books they come out.
No, because I think some parts of Star Wars are meant to be
left untold.
Mysterious.
Like there's actually a rumor running around right now. There's actually a rumor running around about a new Star Wars comic book coming out that explains Yoda's like people and shit. I'm like, I please hope they don't do that shit.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, I don't want to know where Yoda came from. I like the suspense. I like me imagining where he comes from. I don't want nobody to tell me where he comes from. I don't want to do it. Like I like the fact that, you know what I'm saying? I like the fact of not knowing. Like don't tell me. Like I like wondering and discussing and arguing about where did Anakin, was his mom just a liar and got, banged up by some Jedi, or, you know what I'm saying? Like I liked wondering about that stuff. Now you're telling me that, I mean, we kind of all knew it, you know what I'm saying, anyway, but because I mean, it's hinted to in the movie. In the movie, it breaks it down, and she says there was no father. So we know that had something to do. Now, how it happened, was it just the Force, or was it Palpatine, or, who actually manipulated the Force in order to making Anakin, or was it just the Force that made Anakin? You know what I'm saying? We didn't know. Now they explained it was Palpatine the whole time, which kind of, a lot of people assumed that, but they made it a reality. I don't like it. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. They said that the Acolyte is going to have the most Jedis out of any show that's been put on TV. It's going to have a lot of Jedi in it. So,
oh boy.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I don't know, dude. Their Acolyte is so. I don't know whether it's going to be good or not. The Acolyte's either going to be like incredible or it's going to be so bad. So
I don't know. I think because of the darker tone, it's going to be good, but at the same time, it's like, it's kind of. 10 things that came from, and this kind of shocked me, this list, because I was like, what? Are you serious? There was 10 things that actually came from the extended universe that was not part of canon. The name Coruscant was actually written before it was written in a book and before it was put onto screen. The name Coruscant. Yep.
Wow.
The double-bladed lightsaber came from EU.
Yep.
Allura Secure came from EU. Lightsaber crystals came from the EU. Kashyyyk actually came from the EU. It was actually written before it was talked about in the movies.
That makes sense.
Imperial Inquisitors. Darth Vader's castle. The entire Mandalorian culture, which I don't know about that one. It was like, I'm like, dude, I kind of tied myself up with that one last night when I first seen it, because I was like, dude, are you sure? I didn't really jump into it and research it a lot, but I was like, dude, what the hell?
I can see that. I can see that.
Beskar, well, of course, Beskar did, and the crossguard lightsaber was 10 things that actually came from the EU. Any type of different lightsaber came from the EU, because they talked about them in in the older U books, like the Light Whip and all them were in there before they ever were brought into canon. But it was just crazy when they said, and I'm like, I'm trying to think, I'm like, dude, but you had Boba Fett, but they really didn't talk about Boba Fett being a Mandalorian. That's the thing that gets me because, they don't say Boba Fett's a Mandalorian in the original trilogy. They don't talk about the original trilogy Mandalorians at all in the original trilogy.
Right.
So they technically don't even talk about Mandalorians. The first time Mandalorian is brought up in the movies, there was plenty of books about the Mandalorians at that point. So, I mean, they could be right.
I mean, I think
Boba Fett was like, he was in freaking Empire Strikes Back was made 1978. There wasn't.
But he wasn't he wasn't like flushed out. The background wasn't flushed out. He was just a mysterious like dude,
Yeah, they never said Mandalorian in the original trilogy.
Right.
So I guess that's true, but I'm like, dude, he's a Mandalorian. Like, if you know what a Mandalorian is, that technically was in canon first, so it's kind of weird. Star Wars team leader. Yeah, that's true. That means that Skywalker's Palpatine, so Rey can't call herself Skywalker. I guess that is true. Because technically Skywalker is a Palpatine. That kind of makes me think about.
She also participated in incest by kissing someone she's related to.
That's kind of
kissing
nasty.
Her cousin, I guess.
Guess it just runs in the family.
No wonder their family's so fucked up.
Luke kisses his sister. Rey kisses her cousin. You know what I'm saying? It's got that old down south thing going on, don't they? And then there was one other thing that I had. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it? There was one other thing I wanted to.
I don't know.
I had them all up, but then I actually closed my damn screen, so now I got to go back through them and look. I tried to get everything in order.
That was everything I had. I don't have anything else.
Hasbro brings back Star Killer with new Star Wars Force Unleashed Black Series. So they got a new Star Killer coming out.
Oh, you said they're making a new game. I was like, what?
Yeah, they made a new game. Shit, they still said that is the number one most selling ever Star Wars game ever. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was
I believe it.
Freaking and it's still blowing people's mind 20 years later.
What, Star Killer's not Knights of the Old Republic?
I don't know. Fuck, I don't know anything about games. I'm just reading the fucking articles.
Star Killer's Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, anyway, fucking Knights of the Old Republic is still the number one most selling game ever. Which I don't even get that because the latest game just break some record or some shit. I don't know, some of these new articles you be reading, you be like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? I could have swore I just read an article, just 2 articles before you that said something totally different. Guess it's all in the eye of the beholder. There was one other thing. Where is it at? So it goes back to Bob Iger. Bob Iger did confirm with Movie Trope the company was losing over $1 billion in streaming. So they're going to put more emphasis on the movies in Marvel's and Star Wars. So
I don't think the.
I just don't know how they can do it with the strikes.
I don't think the output. I don't think the avenue is the problem. I don't think the movies versus TV shows was the problem. It was just the writing of both. You know what I mean?
I don't know, but that's what he says. He says they're going to focus more on the movies. So we'll see if that happens. Which I don't know how that happened when everybody's on strike. Who's going to write the movie? Who's going to act in the movie? Can't write no damn movie and act in the movie if everybody's on strike. Which you got to think about it. This is also a good time for like people like, you know what I'm saying, because George Lucas wasn't part of the Actors Guild or Writers Guild. Quentin Tarantino's not. A lot of actors and writers and directors are not part of the Actors Guild or the thing. But this is the thing. Even if you write a great movie and you can't get, like, most actors are in a part of the Actors Guild. You know what I'm saying? So, and the writers. So who you gonna get to act in that shit? Even if you did write some awesome shit, like, who's gonna act in it? Everybody's on strike. So I don't know.
It's true.
It all boils down to, you know what I'm saying, how everything turns out. Which, I mean, I think I'm like 50-50 in it. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel that people should get paid for their work. And they should get paid what they're promised. If you promise somebody, don't, you know, put in fine print some bullshit that, you know, don't pay somebody some money. That's just bullshit.
I think
we don't know what happened to CJ and Tori. They just, you know, I text CJ, he said he's been working a lot, and Tori, we haven't heard anything from Tori, so. And I didn't ask about Tori when I talked to CJ. He just said he's been putting in a lot of hours and he just hasn't had time. So I don't know.
Nope.
I don't know. It's just, I just feel that, I feel like the entertainment industry is about to take a major structural reshift.
Definitely.
Just looks like that's the way this is going.
I agree with that.
And I think that you know, the actors and especially the writers, they need to be paid for what they're doing. You know, you can't sit back and, you know what I'm saying, don't pay, you know. But I think that everybody's about to start getting paid less because there's going to be more people introduced. We're going to get a lot of new actors because of this. We're going to get a lot of new writers coming out that are not part of these guilds, that are not part of none of these things. Because whenever you have a strike of some sort, they bring in people that they know that can do stuff that's never got the opportunity to do it because they know that they need to work. You got to think about it. You got a writer that's in California. You got a screenwriter. You go into any freaking Starbucks and you're going to see 10 people writing a screenplay in there. Just that's the way it is in California. And
you're not wrong.
You got all these starving actors that are trying to get into the industry, been trying to get into the industry, and they get trumped by, you know, some major actor coming in to play a part. You know, they've done little stuff, and now they're going to get their opportunities because they're not part of the Actors Guild. They're not part of the Writers Guild.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They haven't ever done anything to do anything, and it's going to give them a lot of opportunities, and I think we're going to get some awesome stories out of it because they're putting their heart and soul in it still. I think a lot of actors, and I'm not going to say actors so much because you take some of the older actors, they're fucking phenomenal.
Right.
I mean, you take Tom Hanks or Denzel Washington or somebody that can just pretty much play any part that you put them in and convince you that that's who they are. It's kind of hard for a new actor to come in and play a part like that. Keanu Reeves or, you know what I'm saying, somebody like that. They're going to come in and they're going to conquer. You know, but I think we're going to see a lot more indie films coming out. We're going to see a lot more different people that we've never heard of coming out while all this stuff is going on because now this is their opportunity to work. And it's always like that. In any industry that strikes, they always bring in new people to fill the jobs because they got to get shit done. And these people will take that job at way less money and do it for, you know, just almost nothing just because they're trying to get their name out there. So I think we're in a position that we're going to see some big treats coming for us, and we're going to see some really good stories. But I hope they get it figured out because I feel like somebody, you know, that's been in this industry, you know, for, you know, 50 years and been acting and doing great job and directing and doing all the stuff that they deserve the money that they're promised. I really think that needs to be done. I think these writers need to get they need to be credited for the things that they're doing. Mm-hmm. You have somebody come in and do a revision on your script and they change, you know, 38%, and then you give all the credit to them. That's not freaking fair when this other guy wrote everything to begin with. All they did is come in and do a revision. That's not fair. And this whole AI shit, I'm like, that shit just confuses me. Like, I don't get what they're trying to say with the AI stuff. Star Wars team leader says SAG has said Anyone that works with the studio not in the guild will be permitted blacklisted after the strike is over and never get to join. But you got a lot of people that's not part of SAG already. I mean, I think Tom Cruise is not part of SAG. You know what I'm saying? I think he dropped out of SAG years ago when he joined Scientology. I think he got out of SAG. They wouldn't let him be a part of SAG no more. And then there's other actors. Quentin Tarantino, it's like, you know, Quentin Tarantino hasn't been part of SAG or the Writers Guild in forever. Robert Rodriguez isn't. George Lucas wasn't. I don't know if Spielberg dropped out or if he's still in there. I mean, you're going to tell me that they wouldn't work? There is not a freaking company in the world that would not hire them to work on a film. You know what I'm saying? Any one of those guys. So, I don't. And, like, all the politics to it, I mean, I never joined because I never did anything big enough to have to join. But it's just, you know, and a lot of voice actors is in any way part of SAG. And so it's just...
Lots of drama.
I don't think Kathleen Kennedy is going to be in trouble, period. She's too good of friends with Bob Iger, and I think her contract, I think she signed like some outrageous long contract. I keep hearing these things, but if I remember correctly, she signed like a 20-year contract that pretty much secured her job for like 20 years, which that would be up by now, because it was 2012. But I don't think she's going anywhere.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't see them getting rid of Kathleen Kennedy anytime
because
soon.
You got to think about it. She's basically all she's doing is running the sub company. They'll fire the screenwriters and they'll fire the directors and everybody else before they fire her. Pretty much, she just says, "Okay, yeah, this sounds good, green light it." But when you're doing everything with Lucasfilms, shit's gonna get by you that's not that good. And then she probably has 20 people reading it, and oh yeah, this is great, you know. So a lot of the stuff is, you know, it's like you really have to suck as a CEO of a company to get fired. Like you really have to be bad to get fired. Like you'd have to like just basically run that company into the dirt to get fired. That's basically what Bob Chapman did. He was just running the company into the dirt. That's why they fired him and brought back Bob Iger. You know what I'm saying? Because he was putting everything into the streaming services, and they're like, "What are you talking about? Why would you do that? Like, you can't put everything. That's, you know, putting all your eggs in one basket." So, I don't know. I really don't know where it's going to go. I just know there's definitely going to be some changes happening. You know, just talking to some of the people that I know in the industry, they're like, "Dude, shit is like crazy." You know, they're like, shit is like really, really crazy what's going on. So it just all depends on where it goes from this point. I just know it's a big opportunity right now for independent filmmakers and people that haven't got their opportunity. It's a giant opportunity right now because you got to figure, I mean, the old models ain't there no more, so you can go right past them old models. People are making movies right now every day. Every day people are making movies. You just go on YouTube and just look up movies, like independent films, and you can watch some awesome-ass movies for completely free.
I know, and it's great. And like people are no longer barred by like the enormous budget that it takes. You know what I mean?
Because shit, look at some of there's been movies that have been made that were made low budget.
Yeah.
And like before you used to have this, you had to have this certain camera. You used to have that, you know, to get the certain shots, you had to buy this lens. Like anamorphic lenses, dude, for like a regular, if you bought an anamorphic lens, just say you got like a Canon 7D, which is just a DSLR camera. That camera, you can buy that camera for like $1,000. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They're not even expensive. Anamorphic lens, $30,000 lens. You know what I'm saying? To get them anamorphic shots. That's what most Hollywood shit is shot is on anamorphic. So people didn't have that type of money. You know, nowadays to raise $100,000 in crowdfunding to shoot a movie isn't shit. People do that shit daily. You know what I'm saying? It's so, like, you have a good storyline, you got a good treatment, you can get movies made for, like, people are making movies for, like, dude, they made the dumbest movie I ever seen in the history of time, and they got almost $500,000 to make that movie. It's called what is it called? In the Dirt Above the Sky. It's the dumbest fucking movie I've ever seen. And they raised $250,000 in crowdfunding for this dumbass movie. It's so fucking stupid. And they raised $250,000, and they did it in 90 days. They crowdfunded $250,000 in 90 days to make this dumbass movie. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and nowadays, there's fucking people that are making movies, and they're just doing everything on it. They're creating their characters. They're doing everything online. I mean, on their computer. They create a complete character. I mean, some of the CGI shit is freaking, you can't even tell it's not, real. Like
crazy.
What is that, Real Magic or whatever that fucking shit is called, man. There people is making some crazy shit. Yeah. And they're doing it for freaking nothing. You know what I'm saying? They can make you can get AI to write you a movie, generate all the characters, create every fucking thing, and make the entire movie for you, and you put it out. Use Unreal Engine and all that shit. I mean, it's crazy the things that can be done in your house. You know what I'm saying? It's just so, just things is changing, and I don't think that there's any real way to stop it. And these corporations, these big corporations, like SAG can say that, but it don't matter if Disney gives you $10 million to make a fucking movie, you're gonna make that movie. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you don't give a fuck about SAG. You don't give a fuck about the Writers Guild. You don't give a fuck about none of that shit. You just got paid $10 million to make this movie. Right. You're going to take that $10 million. If you only made that movie, you're rich for the rest of your life. $10 million, you could take that $10 million and invest it and buy some fucking apartment buildings, and you could be set for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you could live.
You know what I'm saying? Off of $10 million. No fucking problem. So that's where it's at right now. So, SAG can threaten people, but it's not going to stop anybody. Shit, what happened when Walmart when Kroger went on strikes a few years back? And, you know what I'm saying, they were like, if you cross the picket line, the fucking union is going to fucking ban you and you'll never be able to work in that state again or in the United States. People still went to work. Yeah. And what happened? They didn't have no problem when the shit was over. They didn't even get fired. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, dude, these union companies, they can say them things and they can say that they're going to blacklist you and all this shit. But it all depends on, it all really depends on the production companies, or not even a production company, but yeah, basically Disney, Paramount, Sony, the people that are putting out the movies, the money to make the movies. And you never know. Because of this, we could get the next freaking Tom Hanks. You know what I'm saying? Some guy comes in and just freaking awesome actor that never even got a shot before because he was always trumped by a larger actor. Because that's the way it goes. If if I say I got 3 credits, I played in a commercial and I went on played in a couple TV shows, and then I say I did one B movie. I go in there, I might be a better actor overall than this Samuel Jackson. I might be able to act better than he can, but he comes in the door, they're giving him the part. That's all there is to it. He's getting a part because he's going to bring money to the film. People know who he is. He's going to draw money to that film. So then this guy then I don't ever get a shot. You know what I'm saying? But now you're in a position, this dude's a starving artist. He's a great actor. He comes in there. They give him the role. He comes out, boom. Now he got a giant name for himself because how well he played in this. You think SAG's going to keep him from working? These industries, the Disney and Paramount and Sony and all these different, they're going to hire him because they've seen what he could do. Right. And that's what happens when strikes happen. Now, maybe all the other actors treat you like shit. Maybe writers write in a certain way that, doesn't fit your abilities. But I mean, if you're a good actor, you can fit anything. Yeah. I don't know how it's going to go. I know it's scary. At the same time, it's exciting because we could get a lot of. I think
it's exciting. I really do.
And it's kind of exciting for me because, I'm writing a screenplay right now that I think is going to be a great movie. And, you know, I think it's going to be hilarious. And it might give me an opportunity to get that screenplay out. I don't give a shit if I'm not part of SAG or none of this. I don't give a shit. If I get my movie made, I don't even care about making any money. I just want to get the shit made. I think it's going to be funny. You know what I'm saying? It would be great. But, you know, if it doesn't made, I'll make it myself. Right. You know what I'm saying? Either way, it's getting done. I'm going to figure out a way to get it done. I'll pay some low budget actors, and I'll find somebody to do it. Because the premise, the idea of it is just hilarious. So I know it's going to be a good movie, or at least I hope it's going to be a good movie. I can't really say I believe in myself. Now, do I believe I'm an idiot? So do I believe in my writing abilities? No, I don't. You know, the idea from my head to paper might come out two totally different things, because I'm a freaking idiot. But I don't know. It's just an exciting time. It's an exciting time and it's an exciting time for just creators in general. I mean, shit, a lot of people are coming out and making YouTube videos, and I tell people all the time, if they want to make a podcast, if they want to do YouTube videos, and anything that I know anything about, I'm willing to help. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, we just live in a time that anybody can create content, and if you have something to say, you should be able to say what you want to say. Right. You know, we don't live in a time that, you know what I'm saying, you had to have fucking 39 degrees and know how to write like Albert Einstein, you know, how to figure out the laws of you know, and do all that shit to get your stuff out there. And we live in a time that anybody can get any information out that they want.
And it's crazy how, like, it's never been more accessible. It's never been more available. It's awesome. Like, how people can get noticed, how people can get seen.
And how cheap it is.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, when I first started in YouTube 10 years ago, I paid so much money to really get started. You know what I'm saying? To get the right equipment, to get the stuff. Now you can get everything you can have a dope ass YouTube setup in your house for less than $1,000. Easy. Probably less than $500 if you really had the budget. You could get shit. The damn webcam that I'm using right now costs less than $100. You know what I'm saying? My mic was less than $100. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have my Rode Podcaster. You don't have to have that. I just got it because, you know, they had it on sale. I mean, the most expensive thing I have in here that I actually use is my computer, and that's just because I built it for editing. You know what I'm saying? I built it for video and audio editing. Right. So, you know what I'm saying? I put money into that. But other than that, I mean, like my lights and shit, you can buy a set of 3-point lighting for like $30 on Amazon. You know what I'm saying? I think I spent like $150, 10 years ago. The price of everything, you can shoot a film on your fucking phone. You can buy an anamorphic lens for your fucking phone for less than $100. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, this stuff. You can get gimbals and all that shit for $150.
Dude, people with TikTok channels are now being hired as actors. You know what I mean? Like, all you need is writers, a fucking cell phone. Yeah.
Dude, YouTube creators are getting hired as freaking editors and actors and everything. I mean, dude, it's the world is open right now, and we're in a time that you can really make a difference. Now, and that's why, you know, if anybody that listens to the Star Wars Audio Archives podcast, which the new season starts on Monday. Shameless plug on this one. But we're not doing Tuesday morning. We're doing 2 episodes a week now. I'm going to Mondays and Thursdays. So Monday episode will come out Thursday, and they're longer episodes because it's going to be way better. But, you know, I give the quote of the week because I want to inspire people. I really do. I want people, anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. This is not hard. This is not hard to do. You just got to be creative, and just anybody can do it. Anything that you dream about, you can do. I know people that I've talked to that's hit me up on the Star Wars Audio Archive podcast. They're opening up restaurants. They're opening up clothing stores. I read their emails, and they're doing all these great things that they didn't think that they was going to be able to do, but just because listening to the quote of the week, they've been inspired and they went out and did it, and they're making good money, and they're doing stuff. And I tell people all the time, I talked to a dude on Wednesday. He hit me up on Star Wars Audio Archive thing on email. He was like, hey, I want to start a podcast. You know, I want to talk about Marvel. I sat down with him, man. We video called. I sat doan with him for like an hour and a half. And then I went on. I told him how to set up everything. I don't mind doing that stuff. You know, I don't always have the time to do it. You know, I talked to him probably 2 weeks before that, before we actually got to sit down the time to sit down and do it. But I sit down with him and I explain how to do everything with him because we're in an opportunity. There's no reason. And if you don't, and if you can't wait on me, you can go to YouTube. I learned how to do all this shit on YouTube. I didn't know how to do none of this shit. Fuck, I could barely even turn on a computer 10 years ago. I was like a computer, that thing in school, you know what I'm saying? The button pushy thing. Fuck, I didn't know how to use none of this shit. I taught myself how to do this just by watching tutorials and watching everything. I learned how to do video editing. I learned how to shoot. I mean, dude, there's some Studio Binder. If you want to learn how to shoot a movie, go watch Studio Binder. They motherfuckers explain everything. Everything that you ever need to know. Film right. I watch Film right all the time. You know what I'm saying? They just to learn how to do shit, different tricks, different things that you can do. I mean, that's how I shot some of my short films, is because I just watched them and just went out and did it. Like, what's the worst thing people gonna say? It sucked. Oh, well, I had fun. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's the worst thing. The worst thing is, and we sit here and we criticize, you know, Disney and all that. What they do is hard. It's hard work. You know what I'm saying? I've never done nothing. I couldn't even imagine doing, you know, some $30 million budget, or as they say, $300 million, but a $30 million budget to make a fucking film. To look at the shit that they got to do, you know, just the previs that they do on the shit, just the animations that because they animate the entire movie before they make it. Just that shit, dude, might take a year of you know, several guys sitting in front of computers creating the entire scenes, every scene on the previs for the entire movie. That's a lot of freaking work. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Then you got sound. Sound is like the biggest thing, is because you got to make somebody taps their finger on the table. You got to create that sound. That sound isn't in the movie when you made it. There isn't no sounds in the movie when you make it, unless they have a boom arm and they're trying to catch it. But most of the time, there's no sound in it. The ADR, everything. So that means after you get done doing all the acting, you got to go in, you're watching it, and you're saying shit so your mouth matches up. Then you got some editor. He's putting everything together. You got ADR. You got, you know what I'm saying, you got everything. Every sound is made in the movie. Explosion has to happen at the right time. Dude, there's so much shit that goes into making a movie. And just a little short films, I was like, dude, literally like a fucking 10-minute short film took me a month to do. You know what I'm saying? An entire month. It's freaking crazy how long this shit takes. And people be like, oh, they just go out and make a movie. It takes like a month. No, that shit takes time. You know what I'm saying? Time. Like, dude, you might have to shoot something 10 times before you get the right scene. And then you shot it 10 times and you end up using the first scene that you shot the first time because it looks best. Like, damn, I should just, but you didn't know. You know what I'm saying? There's so much work that goes in. So I don't ever put them down. I don't put down actors. Actors work their asses off, man. Like, dude, seriously. Crazy. Like, it's freaking crazy. And we've had actors on here to tell you how hard, you know, 16 hours a day they're out here working. You know, trying to do shit, trying to get shit done. They might be in a scene for 2 minutes, but they work 16 hours in one day to get, you know, 12 seconds of that 2 minutes that they're going to be on screen for that movie. You know, it's crazy the work that goes into making a movie. And so I give credit, and I think that they deserve what they're asking for. I think some of the things are just a little over the fucking. I agree with Bob Iger. Like, you're just asking for way too much. Jesus Christ, you want me to just fucking pay you the whole budget of the movie? But you know, I think that they deserve. You know what I'm saying? Definitely deserve to get paid better. To, you know, and that goes for the screenwriters. That goes for the actors. That goes for the directors. The special effects guy, the editors, the sound guys, the Foley guys. I think all of that, you know what I'm saying? I think that they deserve to make more money. And because, fuck, man, if you made, you know, if it took you $30 million to make the fucking movie and you made $120 million on that movie, you fucking made plenty of damn money. You don't need all that money. You know what I'm saying? You don't need all that. And then they talk about they lost money. You didn't lose no damn money. You still made a profit. It's just not the profit that you wanted to make. It's not enough to keep your stockholders happy, because you got to put money in their pocket too. So, and that's what it always boils down to. Every major business in the world, it always boils down to their stockholders. It don't matter what it is. It all boils down to them. If your stockholders ain't happy, then you're not going to be happy, because they're going to be talking shit. and they're going to be talking about pulling out and selling their stock off, and which will drop down, and then you be set up for a corporate takeover, or you have to sell off assets, and like best movie to ever go watch to figure out how stocks and companies work. Go watch Secret to My Success with what the hell is his name? Fucking Fox.
I have no idea. Jamie Foxx?
No, not Jamie Foxx.
Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox. Great movie.
Really?
Great movie. It's a good movie. It teaches you about business and how business works. And
I like Michael J. Fox.
It's a good movie. It's an old movie. It was a good movie. I like any movie that I can learn something, and that kind of taught me some shit on how corporations really work. You'll fuck around and get a corporate takeover. Some other company will just come in and buy up all your stocks and then fucking take over your entire company. And you can't even do shit about it. Yeah. But that's the way the world works. And it all boils down to that. It's money. It's always about money. And that's what sucks. Because what is happening now is that creativity is lost because of profit. And creativity is what we really want to see. We want to see people be creative and make fucking... Look at Jordan Peele, man. That dude just came out of nowhere and made some dope shit. You know what I'm saying? Some dope-ass movies. This guy was a nobody 10 years ago. Nobody even heard of Jordan Peele. You know what I'm saying? Now this dude got Get Out, got that... got 3 movies that all were like fucking super hits. And this guy wasn't nobody 10 years ago. It might have been a little bit longer than 10 years, but I'm just saying it wasn't that long ago nobody ever even heard of Jordan Peele. And now this dude got, like 3 of the top movies just came out in the last 10 years. Because Get Out was crazy. Nobody has ever thought about people fucking putting their souls in your brain and shit and swapping brains out of people. Nobody ever thought of no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That shit was crazy. But that's the way that it is. I mean, you got to figure at one point, nobody knew who George Lucas was. Nobody knew who Steven Spielberg was. It was in a time that these people came out and created awesome shit, and they paved the way for more creativity, and then money trumped creativity. And that's where we're at now, where money is more important than the creativity and the art.
But it seems like people are starting to listen. People are starting to change a little bit, it sounds like.
Well, I think just the industry changed, and it's forcing people to have to pay attention now because you can't do what you used to do. Like before, so to say if you was like a new director or a new, if you was a new director, you wrote a screenplay, you created a short film or a film off of a feature. Right. You had to put it into Sundance. You had to put it into Tribeca, one of the film festivals. Then you go to the film festival. Then somebody like you'd have production agents there, scouts there. They go and they watch, and then they would take. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, "We'll buy your film, or we want you to make a film based on this premise." You know what I'm saying? On the premise of your film, and they would pay you for that. Then you'd go get an agent, and your agent would set up things, and you get everything done, and then you and the company would go together, and then from that, that's how Jordan Peele got in there. He won Sundance, and somebody picked up that movie. That the Saw series was all picked up from Sundance.
Oh wow!
And that's how it went. Well, that doesn't work anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because why am I gonna sell you the rights to my movie and not make shit off it, make some little bullshit royalties that's off of nothing, when I can make this movie myself? You know what I'm saying? And that's what people are doing now. People are just making their movies themselves. You got to figure, Robert Rodriguez made freaking, oh God, man, this shit's right on the tip of my tongue.
Bro, I have no idea.
El Mariachi. He made that movie for $7,000. Okay. He won the film festival. Well, I don't even think he went to the film festival. I think he took that shit directly to the thing. And they was like, dude, you made this for $7,000. No, I think he did win Sundance with it. Or South by Southwest. I can't remember. South by Southwest is in Texas. I think he won that one. Well, somebody's seen it. Now Robert Rodriguez he fucking did Book of Boba Fett. Even though it wasn't that good. I mean, look how big Robert Rodriguez is.
Right.
And he could pretty much just predict what he wants to do. But he started off making a $7,000 film. He made that movie for $7,000.
Right.
It was low budget. Then he comes out with, then they do Desperado, which is the remake of it with, you know what I'm saying, major actors. Quentin Tarantino helped him rewrite it. You know what I'm saying? And it's a giant ass film. It was like one of the best films there. You got a guy walking around with a guitar case full of guns just killing people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, and he had Selma Hayek in it. That was like her start, her real first movie start. You know, it was a great movie. It had a good storyline. Tricked you at the end because you find out that it's his brother, the drug lord that shot him in the hand. They're like, how didn't you realize it was your brother? It was his henchman. Just had all kind of twists and turns. It was a good movie. But it started off on a $7,000 film that they shot in they were like run and gun shooting it. They were like literally just, because they didn't have no right. They were just shooting it in Mexico. And that's the way that it is. And that's the way the films are being done now. The big films that are getting into the movie theaters and shit like that. I mean, you can rent out a movie theater now. People are renting out movie theaters and getting their movies shown in movie theaters. You know, you can rent it out for a day and get your movie shown in there for a certain amount of money. And they'll crowdfund all of that shit. Crowdfunding is a huge thing right now in the independent film society or in the independent film world because people believe in creativity. People have always believed in creativity. People want people to be creative, and they want to be a part of something. You got to think, if you read a script, say you read a script, and you was like, dude, this would be a good movie. You wouldn't give a couple $100 to the dude that was making it for a credit in the film. I was part of that. You know what I'm saying? Give $200, you get your name on the reel as a producer or whatever. I'd give $200 for that, or $50 or whatever they ask for, to get my name on and say I was a part of that. And then this movie becomes this giant ass movie. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened to the Saw. So Saw, they crowdfunded all that shit when they made the first. It wasn't the actual Saw movie, but when they made the Saw movie, everybody that crowdfunded went into the actual credits of the first Saw movie, even though they only paid for the short film that was the premise for the Saw movies. And they still put them in there. And now these people, that movie made millions and millions of dollars. But they were a part of that. Just to say I was a part of that. People will give you money. And that's the crazy thing. People crowdfund like crazy and they get money for all kind of shit. And it might not make it, but at least you can say I was a part of doing something. I was a part of the creative process. I helped fund this, and people give money for that all the time. And it's a great thing because people believe in creativity. People believe that, that people now, there's also them assholes that, hey, I'm making this movie, and then you give them some money and then they don't ever make the movie and just keep your money. So you got to watch out for them people. But I mean, you can look people up now. I mean, there's any information you want, you can find online. Any information, you can find it online. You can find out anything you need to know about anybody. So you can find out, what has this person done before? Oh, they made 3 other short films. Okay, well, now they're making a full-length feature. Just go on there and look. And that's how it's going to be. I mean, go look on, just one day I want everybody just go on YouTube and look up Star Wars short films and see how many. They have full-length Star Wars films, full-length featured films. But just go look at Star Wars short films and look at all the different stuff. Some of them are good, some of them are great. Like Shadows of Destiny, I talked about it last week. Dude, did I say bring it up last week? Anyway, that shit got Lars Mikkelsen, Thrawn in it. And dude, it's awesome. And it's just the first part. It's just it's like 30 minutes long. It's just the first part. They're doing like a full-length feature out of it, but they're dropping it in segments. But it has Lars Mikkelsen. Dude, it's the little part that they do, it's dope, man. Like he's playing like this rogue Jedi, and this bounty hunter comes to get him. Dude, like, just watch it. It's called Shroud of Destiny or Shrouded of Destiny or whatever. It's dope, man. There's so many good Star Wars short films out there, and most of them films was crowdfunded. Most of them films was crowdfunded by people just believing in it. You know what I'm saying? Believing in the vision. There's some really good short films, Star Wars short films out there. Really, really good ones. Now there's some garbage ones because I watched some like, what the hell? Like, this is the worst lightsaber I ever seen ever. Like 3-year-olds play with lightsabers. But there's some that are really good. And then there's some done on Unreal Engine that is just phenomenal. Like, God damn, this is made on Unreal Engine? Holy shit. But that's where it's at. You know what I'm saying? We're in a time that people that are creative can really make a difference. You know, and you can do anything that you want. You can do anything that you want.
The world is your oyster.
It really is. Things that were just not capable of anybody doing 20 years ago, you can do it now. You don't have to have a $30 million budget. People are making movies for free. They're not even, whatever it costs to freaking your electricity and the clothes that you were wearing to make the film. People are making those films. Tangerine, from my understanding, was a zero budget film. And that shit won Sundance. You know what I'm saying? And it was a full-length feature film shot on iPhones. And I watched it. It is a good movie. It's not the greatest movie. It's not, it was done by somebody that's a well-known, director. It was written by a pretty well-known director in the indie film thing. Mm-hmm. He's done some TV and a couple, not extremely great movies, but he's done a couple good movies. And this thing won Sundance and just freaking is like, dude, you'll be blown away to think this whole fucking movie was made on an iPhone. Really? Like, dude, seriously, like, it's a decent movie, I thought it was a good movie. Just for, shooting it in coffee shops and wherever they could shoot it at, and, actors, just regular people, and they shot it for like nothing. You know what I'm saying? They'd seen if they could just shoot a no-budget, full-length feature and get it done. I mean, Unsung from Darius that's on YouTube. I mean, that's a decent movie. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Is it Unsung or I can't remember.
I don't know which movie you're talking about.
It's a short film, but it's about a dude and his mom, and his mom has like mental illness. And it's like a short film, but it's a great film. The premise is great. The idea of it was great. It was it tugged at your heartstrings because, you know what I'm saying? If you don't know somebody that's went through like mental illness, you've heard of people that went through mental illness and how it's affected people's family. Just a good premise of a movie. It's only a short film, and he shot it on some like low budget ass camera and shit. But the story was great, man. It was like, holy crap, man. And he shot it for almost nothing. You know what I'm saying? Couple grand. And there's a lot of good content in this world. I mean, it's crazy. There's a lot of good content. You gotta look for it sometimes. Everything ain't right out there in your face. Like, what we get when we get the big budget films. Because they got money to put out for promotion. That might be why it costs $500 million. You got a commercial comes on every 30 seconds that cost you $1 million to make put that commercial on TV. That might why it was $500 million. But they got budgets. And that's why there's a big difference. I don't know. I think the world. I think it's changing. It might be for the best. I just hope it doesn't ruin the theater. Because I love going to the theater. I've always enjoyed going to the theater.
I don't know. I'm not worried. I think the theater will stick around. I think things will definitely change, but I think it's going to be for the better ultimately.
Well, as long as they could come up with some agreement between the production companies and the writers and everything. Yep. Star Wars team leader said guerrilla films running everywhere and filming free, no permits. They're doing it everywhere, just like they bootleg movies. Like, why am I going to get a permit to go film in a park? You know what I'm saying? Or go sit down in a coffee shop when you just say, hey, man, I'll put your name. It's not even guerrilla. You would be surprised. You go into a business and you say, hey, man, can I use your business to film? I'll put you in the credits of the film. Mm-hmm. Your business will be promoted in this film. Who's going to say no to that? That's free promotion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know. It's just an awesome time. It really is. It's an awesome time, but it's also a scary time because I would hate to see Disney fail and, go bankrupt or, get bought out by somebody that's going to ruin it. You know what I'm saying? And it's been around for 150 years or whatever it is.
Right.
I would hate to see that. I want the companies to, to be able to make good stuff and good products for us, but they got to do that. And I think Bob Iger I think he sees that. I don't know. We could be wrong, but
I have hope.
I have hope.
Hope returns.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up. We already been on here for 2 hours. Just rambling about, movies.
God knows
mostly
what.
me rambling. Garrison, you gotta start talking more. Just cut me the fuck off, quick.
Bro,
Goddamn shit.
I don't want to cut off these beautiful thoughts. You just keep talking. I'm just all right.
Fucking tell me to shut up.
Hey
guys, tell me when I'm talking too much. Walmart, will they hate people filming? LOL. Probably.
Yeah, maybe don't film at Walmart.
Yeah, but shit. Hey, there's some funny videos of people at Walmart that be on TikTok and Instagram and shit. People be coming at my fucking dude, what the hell are you wearing? Are we showing the movie next Sunday? I don't know. We haven't really talked about it.
Next Sunday works for me.
Let's see, what is next Sunday? Oh, shit, is that the last Sunday of the week? I ain't even fucking, I don't know. I've been so busy trying to, I got a whole bunch of shit going on, guys. I messed up. I made a big boo-boo. I forgot about Red Harvest. I forgot about a whole book. I don't know. Let's see, what is that the last Sunday of the month?
No. So next we have the 16th, which is tomorrow, the 23rd, and the 30th. So we got 3 Sundays left in the month.
All right. What does your schedule look like? We'll just do this right now. Shit, it's just anyway.
The 30th probably isn't a good idea for me, but I can do the 16th or I can do the 23rd or the 16th. Well, the 16th is tomorrow, so probably the 23rd.
23rd. Yeah, we can do it the 23rd.
Cool.
I don't think I have anything planned. I know I got to go to the doctor on Monday, then I turn around, I got to go to the doctor on the next Monday. Yeah. Cool. Got a lot of doctor's appointments this month. Well, actually, so on Monday I got to go to the neurologist. I got to go get an MRI. I got to get an MRI every 6 months to make sure I'm not getting any new lesions. Right. And then I got to go see my primary care doctor on the following Monday. But luckily they're in the afternoon, so I ain't got to miss work.
Well, there you go. Sounds like 23rd.
Yep, 23rd. Oh shit! Star Wars team leader said he'll stream it at his booth and the event. Oh, that's cool, man. Thank you, man. We appreciate that. Yep. So we'll do it on the 23rd, same time as always. We'll do the the little 15-minute beforehand thing, and then we'll get to the movie. Just like we've been doing it. I like what are we watching? What's this?
New Hope.
New Hope. A New Hope.
Did
we skip Solo? Did we watch Solo?
Dude,
No, we watched Solo. Okay.
We watched Solo.
I don't know why I thought we. Oh yeah, we watched Solo because we talked about it. All right. Yeah. So yeah, we'll do that on the 23rd. So we'll see you guys next Saturday, and then the 23rd we will do the watch party. Oh shit. So let me get this out of the way right now. So I can't do the 30th because I'm gonna be out of town. So the 29th, Les Garrison is gonna do it by himself. We might not have an episode on the 29th because I gotta go to Colorado to go pick up my daughter. She's moving out here. So the 29th, we might not have an episode because I won't be back until the 2nd. So I'm leaving the 27th and I'm coming back on the 2nd. And I mean, I might be able to jump on the phone, but I don't know. We're going to be moving shit and getting everything because I'm going to pick her up. So we might not have a show on the 29th, just to give you guys a heads up. We'll let you know before then whether or not we're not going to do the show. We'll let you know next weekend. That way everybody will be prepared. You guys won't be, oh man, what the hell happened? Where'd they go? And, we're just not here.
Right.
Other than that, I think that's about it. I think that I didn't do a quiz, y'all. It was a hectic week, so I didn't get a quiz done this week. But I am working on doing a quiz book that will be on Amazon. And for all of our listeners that are on here, I'm gonna give y'all a free copy. I'm gonna do the quiz book.
Let's go.
I'm gonna do an entire quiz book. So everybody that's on here, Y'all get a free. All listeners will get a free copy. All of our listeners will get a free copy, and then everybody is always joining in on the chat and coming and supporting us. I'll make sure y'all get a free copy. Everybody else, $9.99. No, I don't know how much I'm going to charge for it yet. I haven't got it done yet, but I got the premise. I got like the first chapter. Then it's going to be the different quizzes, explanation of the answers, where the answers came from, all that good stuff. I think it'll be fun to do. But that's going to be a while out. That's a while. I got to get this script done.
Yeah.
I got to get this script done. Got other stuff to do. But that's definitely coming. I made a cover for it. I don't know. I was just fucking around. I made a cover. I like it. So it's coming. All right, guys. We're going to get out of here. We will see you guys next Saturday. Peace. And may the force be with you always.
Thank you for tuning in to LSR. If you've enjoyed the show, consider subscribing so you can be notified when new episodes are released. If you would like to be a guest on the show or just want to give us some feedback, feel free to email us. You can also reach out to us on all major social media platforms. LightSaber Radio is produced by Pickfilm Media and is a Swaycast original, starring Garrison Turcott, CJ Elliott, and Kyle McDaniel. And don't forget to join us next time for more adventures in a galaxy far, far away.